Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at our headlines. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar addresses the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly in Manhattan, where she boasts of the baby care grant. CARICOM and the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies, CANTA, launches the CARICOM Regional Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET strategy. And corporate TNT, in addition to hundreds of citizens, take part in the International Coastal Cleanup Day 2014 at several local beaches. Thank you for joining us. Top of the news. On Monday, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar addressed the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly meeting at a special sitting of the International Conference on Population and Development at the UN headquarters in Manhattan. Now, the Prime Minister proudly spoke of the baby care grant, which was disclosed as a 2015 budget initiative.
Kickstarting her hectic UN agenda, the Prime Minister told the special session that whilst there is emphasis on health, employment and the provision of several social safety nets for the poor, education for Trinidad and Tobago remains the driving force to sustainable development.
Education has received a lion's share of the national budget as we seek to make our education system MDG+, which will result in Trinidad and Tobago achieving universal early childhood education by 2015.
A part of this, she said, is the redesign of state programs that will benefit young people at the very beginning of their lives through multi-sectoral education and skills development.
Most recently, in addressing issues of the poor, my government introduced a new program to provide financial assistance for any child born to underprivileged parents.
She said although Trinidad and Tobago has made significant progress in implementing the program of action of the ICPD, her government is cognizant of inherent challenges but remain committed to ensuring equality and equity to harness the talents of current and future generations.
Notwithstanding the strides we have made through proactive intervention by government, including efforts to improve the efficacy of our CSO, Central Statistical Office, in order to promote evidence-based policy making, we recognize that there is still need for assistance from our development partners to strengthen our institutional capacity in some areas, including data collection and statistical systems.
The Prime Minister told the United Nations that her government has begun to put in place measures for a transformative post-2015 development agenda.
In this regard, programs are being developed by relevant national agencies to address issues relating to prenatal and neonatal care, as well as other issues affecting the health of mothers and infants.
She's advocating that sustainable development requires a holistic approach and recognition of the interlinkages between human rights and population dynamics.
I say increasingly diverse household structures and living arrangements require us to plan and build sustainable cities and strengthen urban-rural linkages. It is therefore crucial that we understand the population dynamics at the micro and macro levels for seamless integration into development planning at the national, regional, and international levels.
These, she said, require systematic inputs from all stakeholders in crafting responses to forge global leadership within the family of the United Nations. From New York, this is Gideon Anamansing reporting.
Thank you, Gideon. The Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies, CANTA, launched the CARICOM Regional Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET strategy for workforce development and economic competitiveness at the Trinidad Hilton and Conference Center on Monday. TVET will provide a guide on the action plans for member states as to how they implement the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ and strengthen delivery of technical vocational education and training.
In a country where its middle class is growing due to the increase in education opportunities, there is still a need for labor in the skills sector. As a result, Trinidad and Tobago has joined the rest of its CARICOM neighbors in implementing the Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET. This will seek to supplement the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ, which aims at ensuring skilled workers are qualified and are recognized across the world. In launching TVET, the Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies CANTA welcomed associates from Canada. The initiative is as a result of funding from the Government of Canada, as the strategy was developed after e-consultations with more than 350 stakeholders in CARICOM member states and was approved by the Council for Human and Social Development at its 24th meeting. The strategy is to guide action plans in member states as they implement the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ and strengthen delivery of Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET. Tertiary Education and Skills Training Minister Fazal Karam explained how this can serve to benefit workers across Trinidad and Tobago.
You might have in your community a very good welder or fabricator, but no credentialed. He can present himself, or what we have done now, we have 2 buses, 2 25-seater maxis, 50 people. They hit the road every day. And they find you where you are. They're not waiting for you to come to them. If you wait for them to come, they will hardly ever come. You go to the mechanic shop, the beauty salon, cosmetologists, hairdressers, tailors, everybody. If you are there and you're performing well, but you don't have certification, we are encouraging you to get certified.
From a CARICOM perspective, Minister of Education in Jamaica, Ronald Thwaites, called for all countries in the region to adopt this method of qualifying our people in their unique skills area if we are to retain our own and not see a brain drain to the effect in the skills sector.
Every labor survey across the world, I believe, and certainly everyone in our region, indicates that a large percentage of our job prospects lie in job own account job creation. And it is those skills to which the new strategy must speak cogently.
It was learned that the sharing and transference of knowledge was happening not only in the Caribbean, as explained by visiting Canadian official Paul Brennan, who noted that some of the unique practices utilized here in Trinidad were to be introduced in other areas of the world.
Our program, is there to support you. Without leadership in the region, then the program is useless. So we're very pleased that there is strong leadership here and commitment, and wanted to recognize that. I wanted to let you know that I was just in China. I came directly from China to here. We won a contract to help a province of China set up a quality system, a small province of 81 million people. So we were there, and I referenced your workforce assessment centers, and they found it a magnificent idea and are thinking of doing that. So I just wanted to let you know that something that you've done here is likely to be used and implemented in China.
He also highlighted the move to expanding universities to the idea of including this type of training under its umbrella in order to fill the deficiency of skilled labor.
The Chinese have also seen the deficit in terms of their workforce, and they want to move up from basic manufacturing to higher value added to services. And so what have they done? They have decided to transform a quarter of their universities, 600 universities, a quarter, into institutions of applied learning and technology. So here you have one of the most powerful, influential countries in the world recognizing formally that what we do in terms of skills training is the key to their future. The only component of their budget, the last 5-year plan, which is critical to see increases, is the TVET sector. And they are transforming 600 of their universities into skills upgrading centers and have asked us to help them in that process.
The development of this strategy, working with the Association of Caribbean Tertiary Institutions, ACTI, to develop a leadership program for managers of institutions delivering skills training, and the establishment of 16 institutional partnerships between Canadian and Caribbean institutions. The program is said to be active in 12 countries: Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Welcome back. Poultry farmers throughout the region are being urged to work together to help grow the poultry industry. The call comes from the Caribbean Poultry Association at a recent conference on effective industry practices.
As the Poultry Association of Trinidad and Tobago celebrates 50 years, it has held a one-day conference for poultry farmers throughout the country. Speaking at the conference, Guyanese businessman and president of the Caribbean Poultry Association, Patrick de Groot, highlights the importance of the industry. He explains the reason it has been such a successful industry is due to its contribution to food security, economic growth, and socio-economic development.
The industry grew by leaps and bounds to become the success story of agricultural development in all our CARICOM countries. In some countries, the growth was led by table eggs, in others by broilers, and in others by both table eggs and broilers simultaneously. Today in 2014, our industry is the single largest supplier of competitively priced animal protein to the diets of Caribbean people and visitors to our shores.
He adds that the growth of the industry has been such that it can now compete on an international level, thanks in part to government treaties, trade agreements, and technological advances.
The industry has been quick to adopt and adapt new technological development in our various production processes, and I can safely say that we are as state-of-the-art as you would find anywhere in the world. In the past 50 years, Caribbean poultry has come of age and ranks with the best in technology, productivity, and competitiveness. Our industry's products can hold their own in any market.
The CPA president explains that regional cooperation is necessary if the industry is to become fully sustainable throughout the Caribbean.
We have not been standing still, nor have we been resting on our laurels. We continue to make new investments in people, technology, and research. We continue to seek to regionalize our industry by searching for new opportunities for interregional trade. Guyana has, for instance, replaced much of our non-regional corn purchases by corn purchases from Belize, despite the many constraints that we faced as we commenced this relationship. Our colleagues in Jamaica have made new investments in Haiti, and we continue to delve deeper into regionalism.
Mr. de Groot adds that while he appreciates the support given thus far by the government to see the industry grow, stakeholders and governments can collaborate even further to secure more growth.
We are looking outside the region since we have unique value-added products that could have demand outside the region in metropolitan markets. But in this, we face many challenges that call for support and negotiations at the level of governments. In this age of the WTO and bilateral agreements, we can only face the future holding hands with our governments. The support of the state is absolutely crucial if we are to move forward.
Mr. de Groot is urging farmers to remember the importance of the CPA. He explains it can develop strategies that benefit all members as there is strength in numbers when negotiating with governments and trading partners. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to some sport news now. With consecutive Caribbean Football Union championships secured by the senior women's and the men's under-20 teams, the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association will be hoping for more partners to join the government in providing support as the nation's footballing fortunes continue to climb. Now, two such partners recently joined the campaign, and here's Wayne Cunningham with all the details.
The technical framework to support the development of football throughout the country has been put in place at an annual cost of $36.2 million.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is continuing its financial support for football as indicated by Senator the Honorable Larry Hawaii, Minister of Finance, during the 2014-2015 budget presentation. With the senior women's team and the men's under-20 team capturing regional titles, it is expected, with such on-the-field success, that some corporate partners will join the cause as teams seek CONCACAF glory. Already stepping forward is HealthNet. Sheldon Phillips, General Secretary of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, outlined the details of the partnership.
Through Lab Medica Group and HealthNet, I'm pleased to announce the creation of a partnership that will provide physical screening coverage to players and staff of all 10 of our national teams. Lab Medica will provide all TTFA players, coaches, and technical staff coverage with an annual medical checkup and a MyCard sport card that looks much like this. The MyCard sport card will, in addition to the annual medical checkup, provide each TTFA member with a year-round medical, dental, lab, ultrasound, and x-ray discounts at any HealthNet Caribbean clinic and its medical partners, plus the dozens of merchants on the MyCard plan. And each MyCard sport member will be entitled to 60% off of doctor's visits, 30% off on lab tests, and 12% on dental services, among other health care benefits.
Mr. Richard Ramrica, CEO of the Lab Medica Group, welcomed the alliance with his organization and the TTFA.
So we are here today under the Lab Medica Group of companies, standing very proud and privileged, and be honored to put forward $3 million, invest $3 million towards the health of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association players over the next 4 years. And I stand here feel very, very honored and privileged to advance this to the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association.
Also providing vital services will be energy giants Petrotrin, who will be returning as a major TTFA partner.
Through the support of Petrotrin President Khalid Hassan Ali, our women's senior team, who recently earned a berth to the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying tournament, has been provided the opportunity to conduct their residential preparation camp at Petrotrin's beach camp facility in Palo Seco until October 4th. This effort marks a return to international football for Petrotrin, and the TTFA is extremely grateful to Petrotrin for their support in providing not only their wonderful facility, but also the people who are taking the time, energy, and resources to contribute to the women's team's efforts to make history by being the first Caribbean country to qualify for the Women's World Cup.
Trinidad and Tobago Football Association President Raymond Timkey fully embraced both partnerships and welcomed the lab medical benefits.
Screening is vital. It sensitizes a person to what is going on the inside. We would say in the insurance industry, if you're as good on the inside as you look on the outside, then everything is all right. But to get on the inside, there are certain types of technological efforts that have to go into research and discoveries. And therefore, you're in a position to stop or control something that otherwise could be fatal.
The mayor of the city of Port of Spain took the opportunity to lament on the lack of spectator support for national teams.
We are having games here. Trinidad is beating whoever they play. And we are winning tournaments. And the attendance is appalling. Now, to show the quality of our players and our coaching and technical staff, they are able to have their players maintain focus and not be bothered by the lack of support. As a sportsman myself, I know what happens when you are playing and you have support. You go beyond the norm when you have support.
Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
More news when we return. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Hundreds gathered along the coastal shores of our popular beaches and bays over the weekend to participate in a global event, International Coastal Cleanup Day 2014. Our reporter Kimberly Ramkalawan was on site at the Las Cuevas Bay in the annual event and files this story.
Sun, sand and sea. The three things we love about island living here in the Caribbean. But nothing beats a good Trini lime here on the beach. But what we take for granted is the keeping clean of these coastal areas. Bringing awareness to the importance of this cause is International Coastal Cleanup Day 2014. The Tourism Development Company Limited teamed up with several local companies for the event. While this year's event took place at over 20 locations around Trinidad and Tobago shores, the popular North Coast beach saw more than 7 companies with their staff and family friends assembled to get their hands dirty in the exercise. The annual event serves as much more than cleaning up the beaches and the coastlines, but sending out a deeper message of conserving our oceans. Heading this cause here in Trinidad and Tobago is CNIRD, the Caribbean Network for Integrated Rural Development, the National Coordinator for the Oceans Conservancy International Coastal Cleanup. Representative Marissa Mohammed explained what International Coastal Cleanup Day 2014 meant.
This makes it 13 years. Trinidad and Tobago has been part of the Ocean Conservancy's initiative. It is an initiative which is actually happening worldwide right now. It's 160 countries. I mean, give and take the time differences, is always the third Saturday in September.
Cleanup crews gathered as early as 6 a.m. to commence the exercise. With garbage bags in hand, safety and hygiene gloves on, the crews took on the task of clearing the shorelines of debris and unwanted garbage. Now, some of the items crews came across during the cleanup drive included plastics, cans, bottles, styrofoam cups. And we want to urge beachgoers to avoid leaving these items when visiting the beaches, as these can cause serious harm to the environment. We spoke to some of the participants who turned out to assist in the efforts. While some say they were shocked at what they found, it's clear the message of why keeping our coastlines debris-free resonates loud and clear.
We learned that our small action make a big difference. So this is what we're doing now. Our small little actions of picking up the little bottles make a big difference with the health, and at least bringing our children out to let them know to give back to the general public.
The way I see it and why I'm here because I believe that everybody in Trinidad needs to do their part, right, to make Trinidad a cleaner and safer TNT. And sometimes we just need to step away from our lives and take the opportunity to do something extra. A little bit will go a long way. If everybody in Trinidad just do a little bit, the results will be great. And that is why I'm here, just to do my part.
Now, a day at the beach doing hard work and cleaning may not seem enticing to these youngsters, but many of these tykes and teens seem to understand what this is more about and vow to take the lesson learned this Saturday back to the classroom to share with their peers.
The beach is an environment that everybody would love to come and do what they have to do, enjoy themselves. But with all of that, you have to learn to keep the beach clean, because it's not just you alone would want to use the beach.
What would you say to people visiting the beach and who are dumping things on the shoreline?
Well, it's not really good to dump things on the shoreline because you might have children who might match the glass bottles and damage their foot. So just stop littering. It'll be a little bit.
Got to keep the beach clean, because when you keep it, when it's dirty, animals like the ladder turtle and dead traps in the materials and end up dying. Then the species is affected, and little children, when people break glass and other things all over the beach, they mash it, they injure the foot, they bite in their mouth, and they sit.
At the end, the total weigh-in of collected garbage included old car tires, mounted to a whopping 2,071 pounds from 193 bags as a result of the collective effort put out by crews that turned out. Now, after a long day cleaning up the beach, this reporter sees it fit to go take a dip. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Looks like so much fun, and I actually missed it, but Definitely not the next time around. Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. Remember, you can view a repeat of our newscast weekdays at 6 a.m. And of course, feel free to visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/our TV4. And you can visit our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the GISL TD. And on behalf of our entire GISL and the TV4 crew, I want to take this opportunity to wish the entire country a happy Republic Day 2014. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.